Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very pleasant day to everyone wherever you are. My name is Dayang Kasima binti Jail, and I am currently teaching in SK Semayan Bangi Island, Kudat, Sabah, the land below to the wind. Today it is my privilege to be here to present you a presentation entitled Urbanizing Bog-standard Toilets in Rural School, a case study of SK Semayan Bangi. Do you know that why do I choose toilets, lavatory or washroom or whatever names that you may call it as my main subject of interest? Do you know that many remote areas, particularly in East Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak, have bog standards, all school facilities that need attention? According to Zarnik and his friends, Bass in his research in 2021 stated that poor access to water, sanitation, and hygiene, aka wash, can have a major negative effect on students, particularly in remote areas. So in this case study, which is my school, SK Semayan Bangi Island, Kudat, Sabah, has a great disadvantages when it comes to school facilities. There are lacking of researchers on toilets management in remote school, particularly if you're talking about Malaysians' perspective. According to Marwan, Sumin Tono and Mislan, back in 2012, in their research entitled Revitalizing of Rural School, a Challenge for Malaysia, had only stated that remote schools are remotely located that can only be reached using limited access road or even river or sea transport system, which by all means have impacted the school revitalizing process. However, these particular researchers did not mention in details about the poor maintenance facilities like toilets in remote school. For this case is my school, which has negatively affected the student attendance rates and gender disparity. The purpose of this particular research is to investigate the progression of the attendance rates among the pupils in SK Semayan. Apart from that, it is also to bridge the education gap between gender. So in this case is the gender inequality in education that might be happening in SK Semayan. Just to clarify a bit about the word urbanization. So in this particular research, the word urbanization means that a beautifications or the artificial beautifications or light modification done with the old box standard toilets schools in SK Semayan. Let's talk about the objectives of this research. The research is carrying both primary and secondary objectives, such as the following below. The first one is to see the significant progression in terms of attendance rates among the pupils once the artificial beautifications or modifications of school toilet is done. Meanwhile, for the secondary objective is bridging the education gap in gender inequality. Do you know, according to UNICEF back in 2005, poor school sanitation facilities like toilets have been cited as a factor that can impede girls' access to their education. This research utilized a qualitative research with questionnaire and the combinations of closed and open-ended semi-structured questions has been done to carry on this study. Let's check a little bit of SK Semayan. Well, SK Semayan is situated in the northern part of Pangi Island, just a few kilometers from the international border, our neighboring country, the Philippines. It is an under-enrolled school whereby there are 43 pupils altogether, ranging age from 5 to 12 years old. However, this particular study was focusing only for the level 2 students, whereby there are 16 of them, with equally 8 both boys and girls. The study has been conducted since January to April this year. Well, there are three major concerns in this study that focus on these three areas. The first one is the attendance rate, followed by the gender inequality, and also we are focusing on health. We are going to see the effect on these three areas once the modification or urbanization done to SK's Mayan that used to be all bog-standard toilets. Let's talk about the attendance rate first. To everyone's surprises, the 100% attendance rates with zero absenteeism among the pupils, regardless their genders, was lasting only for 2 months for both Year 5 and Year 6 pupils. Meanwhile, for Year 4, there was no 100% attendance rate. In March, the graph fell tremendously low for all the years. Attendance rates were on its lowest percentage, which was less than 88% rate. As everyone has known, March is the month whereby pupils had their semester break for 1 whole week. The particular reason for this unprecedented circumstances where there was a substantial decrease in attendance rate, mainly because of the pupils was out of the town. Most of them joined their maternal parents who had part-time job and worked outside Semayan area. As quoted by the researcher, some of them were helping their parents with a part-time job took place. These are few examples of the pupils' reasons to absence from school. Only 1 or 2 days after the school reopened, by then, the pupils will eventually come to school. This is the example of something that beyond the teachers or the school's control, as this is the parents' responsibility to ensure their child is coming to school. As mentioned beforehand, responsibility to learn lies on the individual or teams themselves, according to Lemety and Colin in 2009. For girls, appropriate toilets are the world to them. So by ensuring the safety and healthy participation in school that has been associated with improved in attendance rate, as what World Health Organization and UNICEF mentioned back in 2017. And definitely this is the thing, or this is the major thing that SK Semayan had implemented on to ensure the equality education between boys and girls. The final findings of this particular research, let's talk about the pupils' perceptions on urbanizing school toilets. So again, to my surprise, all of the students are completely agree to all the said statements. The reason for these precedent circumstances were because the satisfactions that the pupils were receiving When we flash back the socio-economy of these children, they were underprivileged children where poverty is the major concern in their household. Imagine living in a house without clean water or no electricity at all. And some of their houses didn't have any proper toilets. So, unfortunately, open defecations still exist in Semayan Bangi, although there are few houses that have decent toilets in their house. We have to understand that open defecations can perpetuate vicious of deadly disease, particularly in infecting the children. Nonetheless, living in a very harsh island environment whereby the two worlds collided between people or human civilizations and animal kingdom, there were cases in Bangi Island and it's keep on increasing year by year. Human being attacked by wild animals such as saltwater crocodiles, wild boars, poisonous snakes like cobras and coral snakes, monkeys, and many more. In conclusion, SK Semayan has become the hub for integrated services, not just for education, but also useful for the surrounding community too. Remember, toilets are very crucial for the healthy development of the people, especially the children, our very own future generation. And that's it. I conclude my presentation today. Thank you very much for listening, and have a productive and pleasant day. Goodbye.